There's lots of stuffs in history, but the best stuff in history is Greek history. I like Greek history more than other history because it's cooler and it has a lot of cool cities. But the coolest cities are Athens and Sparta. In fact, Athens and Sparta were so cool that they had to have a war to decide who was cooler. The Athenians were pretty cool because they were smart and had probably the first democracy, and the Spartans were cool because they were the best warriors and were also pretty smart. Turns out that the Spartans, though, were much better at using pointy sticks than the Athenians, so they were declared the coolest kids in all of Peloponnnesia. With the power of being the coolest kids in the Mediterranean playground comes the responsibility to rule over all the less cool kids with an iron fist. They made Athens make a whole bunch of terms and agreements that they had to sign, which pretty much made them puppets to Spartans, but internally the Athenians still governed themselves. They used to have a democracy, but after getting heckin' annihilated by the comparatively socialist Spartans, no one really wanted a democracy, so they got themselves a merry band of aristocrats called the 30, who Xenophon and his homies supported at first. For a while, the 30 were pretty cool, and they executed all the scumbags who used to live in the democracy by means of blackmail. And Xenophon and his homies loved this. I mean, they were like the 30's #1 fans in all of Athens. Now, how do I put this? What's better than an ice cream? 30 ice cream. And what's worse than a tyrant? 30 of them. After all the scumbags were purged, the 30 looked around and thought, these other citizens are rather popular and could pose a threat. We need a way to kill them. Now the 30 were friends with the Spartans, so they got to be cool kids too. And when you're with the cool kids, you can't let other potentially popular classmates get cooler than you, because then they might usurp your throne. The 30 didn't want to get usurped, so the 30 cool kids asked their much cooler upperclassman, Lysander the Spartan, to send some backup so they could wipe out any potential threats. And by being a bunch of suck-ups, they got a garrison. In other words, they were a bunch of Spartan guards that were already used to killing anything that breathed, so they had no problems killing innocent but popular Athenians. Xenophon and his homies grew a bit less excited, but still believed that the 30 were the best thing for Athens. Theramenes was an honorable man among the 30, and thought it was rather uncool to kill the popular Athenians all willy-nilly, and he rebuked Critias, who liked killing the popular men. Critias realized that Theramenes was also a popular kid that posed a threat, so he convinced the rest of the 30 to execute Theramenes. After this, it was pretty clear that the 30 were a bad bundle of badgers. But before the peeps of Athens could do anything, the 30 banished everyone from Athens, except for the richest 3,000. At this time, several of the displaced Athenians were not happy for being kicked out of the playground, and they took refuge in the city Thebes. Then a soldier and democratic statesman, named Thrasybulus, led a force of only 70 men to go fight the garrison of Spartans and overthrow the 30 tyrants. It sounds crazy, but look at here. A snowstorm rolled in, which kept the 3,000 from sieging the fort of Thrasybulus and his 70, so they stole a bunch of animals while the 30 retreated. By the time the 30 had organized their forces, Thrasybulus had gained 700 more soldiers, and they were causing the 30 a big concern, especially when he launched a sneak attack on the Spartan garrison while they had put away their weapons to manage the camp for the evening. By this time, Xenophon did not like the 30 at all, and only cooperated out of fear, which caused him much shame. Eventually, Thrasybulus' army and the 30's army gathered for a final showdown, where Thrasybulus gives the coolest speech ever, which totally hypes up the Athenians, and it went a little something like this.
We're fighting for our right to live, to exist. And should we win the day, the 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday, but as the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
At least that's how Wikipedia says it went down. Thrasybulus then managed to mop up the army of the 30 using his much smaller force, but before Lysander could send more backup to his friends the 30, Pausanias, the Spartan king, the coolest kid of all of Peloponnnesia, showed favor to the Democrats of Athens. He reunited all of the Athenians, including Xenophon and his remaining homies. All the Athenians were allowed to retake their homes and property, except for the 30, who were declared uncool. and unworthy to live by both Athens and Sparta. Thrasybulus was able to negotiate peace, and Athens returned by popular request to the much cooler democracy of the old times.